Namaste, beautiful yogis. Today's class is going to be an interval yoga. Light on your toes, wake me up. Yoga sequence. Let's come to the front of our mats. Hands in prayer over the heart, close your eyes. Begin to deepen your breath. Begin to create a conscious connection with your breath. And open your eyes, begin to swing your hands side to side, coming on the toes, side to side. And inhale the hands over your head, clasping the hands, reach over to one side. Try to keep your arms straight, coming back to center, over to the other. Try to elongate and lift and lengthen through both arms and see the difference in how this feels rather than bending one arm. And back to center, one more time to the right. Lengthen, keep your shoulders back in one plane and over to your left. And back to center. Hands over the heart in prayer. And we're going to shift the weight onto the right leg, come into warrior three, left leg behind you. Level your hips, flex your foot, and you can point the toes down. Great. Coming into one-legged chair, chair pose. Shifting the weight onto your left leg, warrior three onto your left leg. Level the hips, projecting through the toes. You can either project through the toes or flex your foot. Gazing at the point in front of you. Slowly bend your left knee, come into one-legged chair and step into chair. Reach over your head. Keep your rib cage in. Great, let's bring the hands down. Wrap the wrists around your elbows and allow your body to hang over your thighs, rounding the back. Great, hands on the floor and step back into downward facing dog. And let's step into plank and prepare for the first exercise. I'm demonstrating the first. I'm bringing one knee across the body and then the opposite. Let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And step into plank. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Firming the shoulder blades into the back. Back to chaturanga and exhale, downward facing dog. Drawing the navel in towards the spine and lifting the sitting bones as high as you can. And you can walk in place here or keep a steady downward facing dog. Listen to your body. And let's come onto the toes, rounding the back, coming into King's Cobra, wave-like motion. Again, rounding and going back into downward facing dog. Let's do a few more of those. Wave through into upward dog and rounding all the way back, feeling every vertebra. And again, wave-like motion, forward, upward dog, and wave-like motion, drawing back, feeling your spine. Inhale the right leg up, and let's roll the right hip open on top of the left, bending the right knee and dropping the right heel behind you. Firm, plant your hands into your mat and lift through your knee. Here we're gonna draw a circle in front of us and lift back up into this hip opener, and again circle in front of us and lift up, and again lifting and open the hip. One more circle and lift, and let's step the right foot between the hands, drop the back heel on the floor and come up. Warrior one. Hands over the heart, chest over the thigh. Warrior three. Keep your hips steady. Keep your gaze slightly forward in front of you. Bend the right knee, step straight back into warrior one, reaching your hands over your head. And let's bring the hands on the floor, bend the right knee, and flex your left foot, coming into low lunge or side lunge, martial arts lunge. And let's face the back of the room, downward facing dog. Open the left leg up, left knee bent, and bring your knee as high as you can, dropping the heel behind you. And let's draw a circle back to hip opener. Second circle, hip opener. Third circle, hip opener. Fourth, hip opener. And fifth, hip opener. Lift as high as you can, step your left foot between your hands and come up. Warrior one. Extending the tailbone slightly down, hands over the heart, chest over the left thigh. Warrior three. Shifting the weight over the left leg, left foot. Spin your right hip in, bend the left knee, step straight back into warrior one. Reach over your head, look up. And let's bring the hands on the floor, bending the left knee, straighten the right leg. Flex your foot and pull your toes in. And coming over towards the right leg. Here we're going to begin to draw circles with the hands and keep pushing your knees as far back as you can, pushing your hips as far as you can. Draw really big circles. Feel the circular motion moving your upper body, and at the same time focus on pressing your knees and hips back as far back as you can. Keep your belly in. Move with your breath. Coming back to center, and let's open the feet out to the side, bend the knees, plie squat, reaching the hands up to one side and over to the other. Let's bring the hands over the thighs and twist, look over one shoulder, press into the other hand. Change sides, looking over the shoulder, pressing into the opposite hand. Great. Plie squat. Reach over, side bend to one side, one hand reaching down, changing sides. This is like a partial side angle. Again, twisting and changing. Continue with this movement. and try to really lengthen both sides of your torso here. Especially focus on the side that's bending. Try to lengthen that side. Like a dancer, try to find length. Great. And one more time, we're gonna twist here, press into one thigh. Look over the shoulder and change sides. Really get deep into your spine here. Back to center, hands over the heart. You should feel some burn by now. Let's continue with the side to side reaches. Your knees are not moving, your lower body is completely steady, only your upper body is moving here. Body awareness. Staying steady in the lower body. Continue with the side to side reaches. Great, hands over the legs, hands on the floor, and you're just gonna bring your knees on the floor. You can double pat your mat. The calves are parallel to each other. Flex your feet and lower down here in this frog stretch, stretching the inner thighs. We're not gonna spend a lot of time here because we're still in the beginning of our practice, but just really try to breathe into your inner thighs and exhale through your inner thighs. Great. Here we're gonna bring the feet together and slowly coming out of this, walk your hands back in towards you. Feet together, rounding the back and reaching in front of you. A variation of garland pose. Get that stretch all the way into your back, hips, ankles. Great. Straighten your legs and come into a forward bend. Grabbing your calves. Always feel free to keep a slight bend in your knees, in forward bends if you need to. And let's bring the hands in front of us, and we're gonna jump the feet wide into wide stance. Let's walk the hands over to the right leg and over to the left leg. And now we're gonna face the front of the room. Warrior 2, come up, right knee leading. Left foot slightly in. Sink a little deeper, reach ahead of you, and lower the right hand on the inside of the right foot. Lengthening. Reach with your left hand up and over the head. Turn the palm of your hand down. You can even look at the direction of your hand if that doesn't bother your neck. Keep opening the left hip. Hands on the floor. Lower the left knee on the floor and look back. Reach behind you and grab your foot if you can with the opposite hand. Right hand, left foot. Twisting here and bringing the foot in, stretching the quadriceps. Great. Release. Step it back. Knees on the floor. Right leg up. Right hand reaches back to grab the right foot. You can leave it at that, or you can continue bringing the foot in towards your head. This is to open the shoulder. And back, release, back into downward facing dog. Let's prepare to do the same sequence over to the left side. Doing the same movements on the left. Left foot steps in, come up, warrior 2. Relax your shoulders. The hands are reaching away from each other. Reach in front of you, side angle, left hand on the inside of the left foot. Try not to put a lot of weight onto your left hand. Try to keep your legs working here. Reach with your right hand up and over the head. Pressing into the outer edge of your right foot here. You can go as deep in your stance here as you can, bringing your thigh all the way to parallel to the floor. Great, let's bring the hands on the inside of the left foot. Lower the back knee on the floor. This is an optional progression. Reach with your left hand back, grab your right foot, twist. Not placing weight onto the knee. We are keeping the skin above the kneecap on the floor here, so we're not placing weight onto the kneecap. Release. Stepping back, let's bring the knees on the floor. Again, stay with the levels here. You can stay at any stage here that suits you, or you can deepen it. So we're gonna lift the left leg off the floor, reaching with the left hand behind. You can stay here, or you can grab your toes and turn the palm of the hand towards the foot, as you can see in here, and begin to open the elbow forward and release, and go back into downward facing dog. And let's walk the feet to the front of the mat, forward bend. You can thread your hands from behind, each hand grabbing the opposite shin bone here in this forward bend. And look over to your left and right, releasing any tension you may have in your neck, face muscles. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, look forward. And let's bend the knees and jump into half handstand. We're gonna do 10 of those. You can pause at the top if you can catch it, or you can continue jumping. After the 5th jump, you're gonna notice that you're getting a little weaker, because this is really cardiovascular, and that's why we're doing it. We're trying to get the heart pumping. Last one, try to jump up and into chaturanga and press up into plank. Side plank, right hand on the floor. You can crisscross your legs here, reach all the way over your head, lifting in a rainbow arch. Hands on the floor, fingers slightly pointing each other, and we're gonna do the twist plank jumps here. Jumping forward and back 10 times. Move as quickly as you can. You can look between your hands or slightly forward. Keep the belly in. Great. Back into plank. Chaturanga, plank. Over to the opposite side. Crisscross your legs, reach up, side plank. Lift your arm all the way, reaching forward. Palm of the hand facing down. Great. Look down between your hands and prepare for 10 jumps. Jumping as quickly as you can, counting to 10. And as beautiful Yogini Isabel suggested, we can call them side twisted plank jumps. Fingers are slightly pointed in, middle fingers pointed in towards each other. Once you're done, plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Open the chest as much as you can, relax your shoulders, lengthen the back of your neck. Tuck in the tailbone under. and press back into downward facing dog. Let's bring the knees on the floor. Grab your heels with your hands, top of the head on the floor, and begin to roll past the top of the head, rabbit pose. Coming out of it and prepare for one more time. Rolling past the top of the head. The weight is on your knees and your hands are helping you here. You're putting very little to none weight on your head so that it's not heavy on your neck. Great, and release. Hands in front of you, coming to all fours. Plank. Chaturanga plank. Upward facing dog. Open the chest. Back to chaturanga plank and downward facing dog. And you can look under one shoulder and under the other. And let's come into plank and upward dog and see the next sequence. We're going to jump from upward dog straight into squat, then jump into handstand jump and jump back into plank. And again, chaturanga plank upward dog. You can press from chaturanga into plank, jump straight from upward dog into squat, handstand jump, and back into plank. Do 10 of those. If you can't do 10, do 5. Next time you'll do 8 and so forth. Handstand jump after the squat jump and plank. Chaturanga plank, upward dog, open. Prepare to jump. Use all the power in your quads. This is great for your quads. Great. And from here, jump into handstand jump and back into plank. Chaturanga, press up into plank, upward facing dog. Straight from upward facing dog, yes, squat jump. This can get to be really difficult. Handstand jump. Good. Back into plank. Chaturanga, plank, upward dog. Open the chest, and this calls for a little break before we continue, so child's pose. Let your shoulders rest. Let your neck relax. Let your breath come back to nice deep yogic inhalations. And let's stretch the back of the shoulders. Most of you are familiar with this pose. We've been doing it every so often in my classes. Bringing the right hand, treading the right hand underneath the left shoulder and changing sides. If you're not familiar with the pose, just pause the video, look at the pose, and then bring, as you reach across from your body, make sure to bring the back of your shoulder on the floor and coming back. We're stretching the upper back, the shoulder, even the neck. Okay, we're gonna continue with this killer combination. Chaturanga plank, upward dog, jumping straight forward, quadriceps power. Here, use your core power, jump up and back to plank, chaturanga, plank, upward dog, and jump to squat. Handstand jump, jump back plank, chaturanga, plank, upward dog, squat, handstand jump, plank, chaturanga, plank, upward dog, squat, handstand jump. I'm getting very sore here. If you're not, you can pause and continue with a few more after I'm done. But this is really challenging. Upper dog, squat. Use all your core strength. Jump up and come into yogic squat, garland pose. Hands in prayer, elbows pressing the knees open. Breathe into your hips. A really important and therapeutic pose that I love. Great. Grab your big toes. Come into a seated, holding your toes. Straighten your legs halfway or all the way and open the legs. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and drop your feet on the floor. And again, grabbing your big toes, you can bring one foot towards your ear and changing sides using your hip openness. We're gonna work on this pose quite a bit for a few more classes, so do your best to feel this as an opening in your hip. And here you can bring the knee under your shoulder and then change sides, bringing mobility in the hip. Great. And just roll into plow, which is one of the great poses for weight loss and thyroid problems, boosting metabolism, and overall tonifying pose for the entire system. It's a great inversion, helps with circulation. Extremely therapeutic for the spine, for scoliosis. To come out of plow, slowly roll down onto your spine, one vertebra at a time, and lower your legs very slowly. Without bringing them on the floor, keep them off the floor, press your lower back into the floor and bring the right knee in, straighten, left knee in, straighten, right leg, straight, lower down, left leg, lower down, scissoring your legs here. Continue with this move, keeping your belly in. Hold right leg in, switch, hold left leg in, switch. And you can release and go into a supine twist. And change sides. And let's bring the elbows on the floor, palms of the hands facing each other, hands up, bridge pose, pressing or rolling the outer edges of your shoulders down. Press your hips as high as you can. You can lift your toes off the floor. Stay in bridge pose or transition into wheel pose, making sure your knees are pointing directly forward, your feet are pointing directly forward, so that you are able to tuck your tailbone under and lift your hips high. Slowly coming out of this, lowering again, one vertebra at a time. And let's bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to drop to the sides. Supine butterfly pose. Breathe into your hips and inner thighs. Let's bring the right hand over the navel, left hand over the heart. circulating the energy between the hands. Great. Bring your hands on the sides of your knees and bring your knees together. Hug your knees into your chest. Rocking side to side. Roll onto one side and either stay here on your side in embryo in the womb pose or come into a cross-legged seated position, bringing your hands over your head and over your third eye and over your lips and over your heart. Being thankful to your heart for its compassion, generosity, and love. Namaste.